Welcome to Docufyre. Docufyre is a data ingestion tool for your documents. It's going to allow you to select documents within a variety of different data sources or allow you to upload them and then use AI to parse that out into meaningful data and send that to Salesforce where you can schedule your automations. After logging into my test account here, you've got a dashboard that shows the status of some of the workflows that I have in process. The very fundamental process is to be able to upload a document and turn that into data and then send that data to Salesforce. So I'm working with a fictitious company here that I've created called Acme Build. And here in my Salesforce instance, you can see I've got an account called Acme Build, and there's nothing here other than the name. There aren't any contacts or contracts yet. Here's my developer account for Ignite, and you can see I've got a subfolder here for Acme Demo with nothing in it. So I'm going to start by uploading a fictitious contract here that I've prepared. It's a statement of work. And that PDF gets parsed by the AI, as well as analyzed and categorized into a document type. The next step is to decide, well, where do I want the output to go? Once this process is run, I would like that to go to Ignite. And that's going to allow me to search for the folder where I want to keep it. The next step is to run it through the AI. The AI is going to create a summary, kind of a shadow document that lives inside of Docufyre so that your instance of the AI implementation will have some content to answer questions about. And then finally, where do we want that to go into Salesforce? So you can browse your Salesforce schema and decide what type of object you want to put it on. It's a lot easier if you use a saved schema, and that gives you some more features. There will be a separate video on setting up a schema. So I've predetermined a schema for Acme SOWs. Right now it's reading that PDF and dynamically creating a form that matches the contents to Salesforce fields and pre-fills them out. It's got a fictitious contact. It's got some information about a contract. It's parsed out some dates. In this instance of Salesforce, I have a custom object called contract terms, and it's picked out some terms and described them. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And that's it. So you can return to that to see the AI summary. And then you also get hyperlinks to the different Salesforce records where that data was parsed. So you can have a single record, or you can have a parent-child set of records, or you can have a complex object structure like this example. Now the Acme account that I showed you before, I'm going to go ahead and refresh that, and you can see how that's been changed. The industry is filled out, the billing and shipping addresses are filled out, the description is filled out, the contact is created, the contract itself is created along with the start date. If I drill into that contract, you can see the attachment itself is here. And then all those different contract terms that we added are also in here stored as records. So the Salesforce administrator now has some data to work with for any kind of workflow that you want to build off of, on top of that inside of Salesforce. The Docufyre process, we chose Ignite as the output. So let's go back to our Ignite folder and refresh that page. And you can see here's a copy of the file that I upload originally was the SOW, and this is what the AI did all of its work off of. So you can upload individual documents, but that was a multi-step process. So wouldn't it be nice if we could just point Docufyre at a folder for source and another folder in another system as a destination and apply a schedule to that? And so that's what workflows are. Workflows can be scheduled, and I've got a few different workflows running here. You can see I've got one that runs on a daily basis that takes documents that get added to a Google Drive folder, parses them into Salesforce, and then puts the output in a Smartsheet. I've also got one here that runs on an hourly basis that searches through a Docufyre folder, and there's no Salesforce processing on this specific workflow, and it copies them into a Google Drive. Then I've got one here that is a manual that I can run on demand, and it is linked to a Smartsheet and Smartsheets have attachments, and it will iterate over all the attachments on a sheet and send them into Ignite. Out of the box, we support connections to Ignite, Smartsheet, Procore, Google Drive, and Salesforce, and Asana is on the roadmap. The AI that does the work, out of the box, it comes with OpenAI, and using OpenAI is fine, and that is subject to the OpenAI service agreement. You may choose to provide your own OpenAI key, and if you do that, then you'll know that it's scoped to your specific account. Some organizations have OpenAI accounts with a stronger security on their contract, so they may wish to use that. Optionally, you can opt into AWS Bedrock. So Bedrock offers a variety of different models. The ones that show up here are the ones that we are supporting and have tested. And I've chosen Claude because that's just kind of a personal favorite. And using AWS Bedrock means that your data stays within the Docufyre infrastructure. So it never goes to Anthropic, it never goes to OpenAI, so they will never see your data. It stays all contained. So that's another option for you. We also offer an option called Workrooms. And a workroom is how you're going to be able to share your documents outside of your organization. And I've pre-created a workroom for this demo for this fictitious company, Acme. And so for Acme, you can add files, you can add folders, and you can also give some insight into what types of workflows are going to feed into this specific workroom. And it's published, it gets a branded subdomain of your account name - workroom that you'll specify. And right now, the only thing that it has is I've given it access to the Acme account within Salesforce. And you can see that it's got all that content that was just updated through our process. And there's a chat you can ask it about. Tell me about the Acme account. And it gives you some details about that. So for internal users, maybe I would like to add information about the contact as well as the contract and all those terms that we picked out of it through the document upload process. We can give all of that as content. So here under publishing, you can update the logo, the branding, and right now it only has access to the account, but maybe I want to give it access to the account and the contacts, and maybe we'll make another tab here for contract terms, and we can give it the actual contract and all those different terms. And then maybe we'll add a tab for the files themselves. And we've got an Acme folder, and we've got that one file that we uploaded. And then over here on members, this is where you can invite your external members. And then back on the published view, you can see that we've got content about the Salesforce records. And you can ask it, are there any risky contract terms? So the AI is scoped to this specific workroom, and that's what it has information to. And so it's telling me that maybe there's some risks with my user acceptance on this SOW. And then, of course, the user can preview and download those files as well. I will do a separate video on schemas. Schemas are kind of brains behind how you map to fields that you might find in a Salesforce record. I do need to quickly show you about workflows, because we have a concept of chained workflows that is available only to workrooms. So I'm going to go back to this workroom. Also, you can pin a workroom so that it shows up over here on the sidebar for quick access. Okay, so I've got a few different workflows. I'll just add all of them. So here I can choose the ordering that I want them to run in, and then I can choose that as a scheduled chain. And so this is going to, whatever workflows that we set up for a particular workroom will run in order on hourly, daily, or weekly basis. And so that way, if you've got team members that are adding documents to one of the valid connections that you want to show up in where the results are in the workroom, you can create a workflow chain to handle some of those complex relationships that you might find between Smartsheets and Procore and Salesforce. And that's it.